told Dr. Pina that, for this talk, I need at least the full hour. So we can have this interaction. By the way, when I do this talk, I bring a lot of resources, and I bring a lot of games to my to the people that I share this. So it's a lot of very interactive, my talks, but I know now it's not this. But I have one that I'm going to leave with you, and I want all of you to write it down. And please, when the next time Dr. Pina invite me, bring this up. I want all of you to write a letter, and this is something, and I have a journal for this. Write a letter to a body part. Could be anybody, any part of your body that you're going to write a letter to. You will see that writing that letter, and it could be a page letter, by the way. I love journaling, right? So every morning when I wake up, or every time in between patients that I have, I write a letter to any part of my body. And it's amazing how much we appreciate something that we usually don't have that appreciation. Like, you know what? I'm going to do a letter to my feet, because, they are the one who carry me every day, and I'm not going to take them for granted. So let me give a letter to my fingers. Let me give a letter to my ears or my hair that, I love so much. So let's be mindful in a very creative way. So the next time, hopefully you can share the letter that you wrote to yourself, to a part of yourself, and a part of your body, so you can share with me. So thank you so much, guys. And I really appreciate your intense silence. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ricky. It was an honor to have the opportunity to learn from you today. Those 10 important points then that I will keep in my mind. Thank you also for being a shining example of what it takes to be a super mental health counselor. Thank you so much. Okay. Our next guest speaker is Mr. Ramon Blandino, whose work has had a profound impact on our understanding of many counseling skills and behavior techniques. Mr. Blandino is a licensed mental health counselor, a marriage and family therapist, and a dedicated and highly skilled senior manager with over 35 years in mental health organizations in the area of program development and supervisory experience. Ramon utilizes his background in financial, operational, clinical theory and practice, and nonprofit management to design, to prepare, review, and implement innovative programs. Ramon has extensive knowledge of the New York State Office of Mental Health, OMH, New York City Department of Health and Mental Hygiene, U.S. Housing and Urban Development, Systems and Regulation. He was a peer reviewer for the federal government, Substance Abuse and Mental Health Service Administrator, to review grant applications in homelessness, mental health, and substance abuse related areas. His positions have ranged from clinical supervisor, assistant vice president of mental health program, executive, deputy director, program director, grant reviewer, psychotherapist, and researcher.
You mute, Rosaura, unmute. Unmute, you muted already, still. You muted, Rosaura, unmute, you have to unmute.
Okay, yeah. Executive Deputy Director, Program Director, Grant Reviewer, Psychotherapists, and Researchers. Ramon has extensive training and education in the mental health field, including a postgraduate certificate in mental health and aging from Adelphi University, advanced professional training in analytical psychology from the C.G. Jung Institute of New York, structural family therapy training from the Minuchin Center for the Family, a certification.
Unmute, you're muted, Rosaura. Rosaura, you muted. Unmute. Unmute, Rosaura. You muted. You mute. Okay.
A structural family therapy training for the Minution Center for the Family, a certificate in healthcare management from NYU, and a certificate in addiction counseling from the New York School. He is bilingual in English and Spanish and a certified runner, coach level 1 and 2. Without further ado, Mr. Ramon Blandino.
Thank you, Rosaura. Thank you, everybody. Welcome. I'm happy to be with all of you. And I'm going to be talking about an experience that I started like 7 years ago in Dr. Piña's apartment when he basically found me to be excessively obese and also inactive. And that particular time, he motivated me and my wife to start running. And that sound like, well, that you can do that for any friend. What happened is like in my case, I was a coach potato, meaning like I never did any sport in my whole life. And from being a coach potato, I became a running coach in the US track and field with level 1 and level 2, and the Road Runner Club of America, level 1 and level 2. And when I took those classes, one of the things that I noticed in the level 2, basically that they put a lot of emphasis in the psychology or the mental health aspect of the coaching. Then I'm going to talk a little bit about that because basically what I'm referring here is that we know that exercise are good. We know that sedentary life is no good, but we don't know that sometimes the detail. And I can tell you that when I started running at the very beginning, my body ache, all my muscle ache. And when you start running, you start going through a transition. Your heart becoming, more active, and you feel like your breathing is heavy. You're like, your pulse sometimes is like very quick, and your heart pumps harder because you need more oxygen in your blood. And the problem was that at that particular time, when I started running, I didn't have taken the training until I realized that you need to adapt to your own capabilities and capacity. And mostly basic, I discovered a method that was walk running, a model where you need just to run, like a 1 or 2 miles or 1 or 2 minutes, and then the same thing walking. And basically after that, also that I need to find my pace, and my pace was like a, walking, talking pace, meaning like I was able to talk when I was running. And the minute that I fall out of breath, meaning I was not able to talk, I knew that I was out of my zone of comfort. But what is happening here? Well, you know that there is two important hormones, the adrenaline and the endorphins. The adrenaline is the response, that the hormone that trigger when we have a situation of fight or flight. Meaning when we get like in a situation, well, let me see, I'm going to fight this guy or this lion, or I'm going to fly and run. And that is the adrenaline. And adrenaline basically is a hormone that is not bad in itself, but a lot of adrenaline, and we are suffering at this particular stage of politics and everything, that we are very stressed out, that the stress hormone is the adrenaline. On the opposite side, we have the endorphin. The endorphin is the one that is for the happiness, and is the one that help your body slow down. When you start running and you get used to run, you are going to hear some people that are telling you, and you by yourself are going to feel something that is called runner heights. Running high is like a short period of euphoria after you do some sort of intense exercise, mostly when you're doing like a 3 mile, half marathon. Well, I cannot say the same thing with the marathon, the full marathon I did too, Berlin and New York. And I can tell you that because it took me like in some cases up to 8 hours on my feet at my age. And at the end of the day, I didn't have that high. I mean, I have it emotionally. I was even crying. But basically, you need to start thinking, oh, what is that is happening? And that endorphin is very similar to like the biochemical in the substance such as the cannabis. The endocannabinoids are similar that give you like that feeling of feeling nice and everything. Yes, it has the possibility to go through the cellular barrier at the brain and go faster to your brain. But the idea here is that you can calm down by have more endorphin, and you don't need to be using the any type of drug. That drug is in your brain already. You need to activate it, and the best way to do that is with that running. I mean with all type of exercise, but running in particular, running and swimming are the two more related to the release of endorphin. And basically, you need to understand that I use it in my therapy, meaning I have a number of people that are now walking. I mean, they are not running, but they are walking. There is a program nationwide called Walk with the Doctor. I was trying to implement that here in my clinic, but basically that was when the COVID hit. The idea is like you have like a doctor or a therapist with a group of patients just walking around, the clinic or whatever. Better if you can do it like in the countryside, because then that there is where we can get the vitamin N. Don't look into the Google because they don't know a vitamin N. N come from nature. And yes, it's a vitamin that you get when you are in the green spaces, in the countryside, in the beaches, and that type of areas. And that is something that basically elevate your spirit and also reduce the depression and the stress and everything else. Then what happens when we have a lot of endorphin because we are doing exercise? The first thing is that we're going to have a lot of changes in our brain. Our hippocampus, which is a part of the brain associated with the memory and learning, is going to increase in the volume, and the brain will include, when you have that improvement, that you are going to have better memory, better focus. You are going to have an elevated mood, meaning like a good mood. We're not talking about elevated mood that like you are hyper or that type of thing. Then in terms of aging, and we have been talking about that on Wednesday in Live Longer, the idea is that it's part of those areas that we are talking that are needed for us to live longer. The being sleeping one of them, being the diet another one, being the pills and supplement and everything else, doing exercise and running one of them. Running is cathartic. Let's go all out. Let's go to the park. Let's go to walk, to run. Let's connect with nature again, and then that is going to basically we can do that. I'm going to lose a lot of patients because my patients are coming because they're anxious and depressed and that type of thing, and they start running well, but it's okay. I have no problem with that. I'd rather have people active and non-depressed because they are doing something good for the body, for the mind, and then that is going to give them or us a sense of achievement.